All right, so with special right triangles, these are the formulas that you all have been studying since geometry, hopefully. Now, x can be any number at all. So any number that goes in there, we're going to have a similar isosceles right triangles, similar 45, 45, 90 degree triangles. And what you'll have to do if you look below is you're going to have to solve for missing pieces. If you look at this, the smallest side for both of these triangles, the smallest side is x. And that's for both triangles. And then for both triangles, the hypotenuse, has a 2 in it for both triangles. See that? The hypotenuse. Not spelled correctly, if you're curious. Not. But, so I'll say that occasionally because we have to know that the hypotenuse is the one with the 2 in it. The number of different side lengths in this triangle here. This one has 2 different side lengths. Right? One is x and one is x radical 2. This one over here has 3 different side lengths. And if I'm thinking about the number of side lengths with the radical, I can remember which one has the radical 2 and which one has the radical 3. Number of side lengths is the radical that I'm using in each. This is just like a coincidence that helps me remember which is which. Because I'll have students that have the square root of 2 in the wrong triangle. Both of them only have one square root. One of them has the square root of 2, one has the square root of 3. Which one has the square root of 2 is the hypotenuse. One with 2 sides that are different, or 2 sides that are the same, if you want to say it that way. Another way, the one that has the 30 in it is the one that has the radical 3 in it somewhere. You got to just maybe think of a clever way to remember it. Okay? Those are all my silly baby things to help you remember what's what. And then below you'll be solving for missing lengths, and you may have to, see if I can talk. You may have to do things like rationalize the denominator, which we have gone over for like a half second in here. You guys should already know that stuff from previous course. And then SOHCAHTOA is the other thing that we're going to go over. And just for this assignment, it's not going to be a lot of work. We're just going to do sine, cosine, tangent. There are 3 more, right? Cosecant, secant, and cotangent. But we're not even going to do that for this assignment. Just sine, cosine, tangent. The things that we really have to be careful of is that, and this is me telling you this because I can predict the future. Did you know that? That I can predict the future? Have I told you that yet? I can. I know what students need to know so that they can do the harder stuff. I know where people are going to make mistakes in the future because they don't do now what they need to do. So every single time that I write sine, let's say that we're going to do the sine of 30 degrees, the cosine of 30 degrees, and the tangent of 30 degrees. Every single time I write them, I write 30 degrees. Every single time. You have to know that sine is not a thing by itself. It's never by itself. It is always the sine of an angle. It is not sine by itself, it is sine of an angle. And to find the sine of an angle, the sine is a ratio of 2 sides. Ratio, divide 2 numbers. That's all it is. It's a ratio of 2 sides of that triangle. So what 2 sides do we divide for sine? We do opposite over the hypotenuse. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, and to know that it is the opposite side, since I'm talking about 30 degrees, here, this would be the opposite side. To know it is the opposite side is it does not touch 30 degrees. Like the two sides that make the 30 degrees, the two rays that make the 30 degrees aren't the opposite. The 30 degrees determines how long x is going to be, but the opposite is not actually touching the 30 degrees. And then cosine CAA, so this was SOH. And then CAH, cosine is what? Adjacent over hypotenuse. We should all know the hypotenuse is the side that is opposite the 90 degrees. So the adjacent would be the side touching it. That's not the hypotenuse. And then tangent, TOA, is opposite over adjacent. And if you do put them in order, oops, I meant to change colors there. If you do put them in order, which I'm going to put them in order every single time, if you do put them in order, opposite, then adjacent, then tangent is opposite adjacent. So they will keep that same order if you put them in order every single time. So for the directions, you're going to find the missing angle, or side length, sorry. You're going to find the missing side lengths, and then you're going to write your sine, cosine, and tangent in lowest simplified fractions of just the angle that I've written in there, and not the 90 degrees. Just the angle, like for this one, it would be that particular 45. You do not need to do both 45s. Just that one. For number 2, it would be this angle that's 45. If I skip ahead to one that's not 45, so number 7, you would be finding it for 60 degrees. Number 8, you'd be finding it for 30 degrees. And please practice writing sine 60, cosine 60, tangent 60, sine 30. Like, make sure you're putting that angle with it every single time, because that's where people get confused later, is they don't realize that angle has to stay attached. And then that is through question 18. And then after 18, you don't have to write sine, cosine, and tangent anymore. They're just more like little puzzles, and you have to find the missing side length. But they're like little puzzles, the last few. At 8, maybe? So like 8 at the end, I think. Yep. Okay? And then you can work on that after your quiz as well, but we are going to start going on after our quiz to the next section. So this really shouldn't take you very long, especially from hearing from you guys. You guys pretty much kind of remember SOHCAHTOA, and then just looking at this, and Sarah's able to yell out I forget what it was, cosine of 30. She was able to look at it and just like say that. It shouldn't take too long. The thing that would take the longest is just writing it down. I will not be having you type this one in. Okay, I'll get something posted. All right.
When does it due?
Pause this.